With over 25 years experience building software and service companies targeting the biotechnology, pharmaceutical, and healthcare sector, Daniel and colleagues developed innovative solutions for some of the largest clinical trials sponsors in the world. Daniel is the founder and CEO of TrialSite Inc., a media platform established to translate complex biomedical and health research for a wider audience. Welcome, Daniel.
We were having the drum circle or something first. Hey, everybody. Can everybody hear me okay? All right. Okay. So, I am the founder of TrialSite News. I'm not a journalist. I just sort of fell into this. And I spent over 20 years building software companies that worked with these large pharmaceutical companies and their clinical trials. So I know them very well. So I just sort of fell into this. So started TrialSite before the pandemic to really democratize biomedical research. The assumption is, we need to understand our own health in this system, right? It's a coin-operated system. So you got to take care of yourself. You have to understand what the medicines are, how they're developed, everything. So we started that company. And when the pandemic started, we actually served a critical role helping patients that had sick or family members with sick patients with COVID get into clinical trials. We helped hundreds of doctors find clinical trials. And then we started tracking ivermectin. And, as some people will attest, most people in North America that learned about ivermectin learned about it through us, okay? A lot of people forget that fact, but that's okay. So what happened was, though, we started to notice, now we have our own platform, so they can't censor us directly, okay? I invested, we control our own system, we're not dependent on any social media. However, we use social media for, YouTube, Facebook, what have you. Long story short, we started to see very, very serious patterns of censorship of like ivermectin studies, for example. We saw, the classic one was when the nation of Slovakia approved ivermectin as on an emergency basis for COVID, and we simply posted that on Facebook with the documentation proving that that was the case. And Facebook said, no, that's misinformation. We said, hold on a second. Here's the government document. What are you talking about? And they said, no, it's misinformation. Okay, same thing happened on YouTube, and then we started having countries contact us. There are various countries that authorized ivermectin on an emergency basis, and countries contacted us and said, and I can't mention which countries they are, but they said, you got to take that news down. And we said, why? And they said, because the World Health Organization is going to pull our money. Okay, so I'm going to tell everybody out there, there is a ministry of truth. In 1984, if anybody ever read that book, okay, censorship isn't just about, in 1984, not being able to share information. It's about destroying whatever the truth is, period, okay? So that doesn't exist anymore. My concern is that this trend, okay, it's whoever's going to be in power. It's a trend. It's like tribalism that's happening, okay? And it's very important. We stay objective. We stay neutral. We report on the facts, whatever they are. I don't care who I upset, okay? That's a beautiful thing about being independent. Now, a couple other things. But ivermectin, we still, no problem with my industry colleagues. I have a lot of people in industry, Pfizer, you name it, okay? Where we started pissing people off is when we started reporting on issues with the vaccines. And we knew of problems early on, and we reported on those problems. Shortcuts that were taken, things like that. Regulatory minutia. Well, we started to let certain people publish before the Substack thing took off. A guy named Steve Kirsch put an article on our news site early on. And a group called NewsGuard contacted us. They were empowered by somebody, okay? They're ex-news executives from big media. And they said, you better take that Steve Kirsch piece down off your website. I told them, hey, it's an opinion piece. We don't necessarily agree with it. We have all kinds of pro-COVID vaccine data on our website. It said, doesn't matter. It has to go. So we politely told them where to go, because we can, right? And I will tell you guys, if you Google us, you'll see some, like, oh, they're quasi-conspiratorial. That's because, we didn't just succumb to what their wishes are, okay? You got to be able to have debate out there. You got to have science, especially with science. It's unfolding, okay? Now, there's a whole bunch of other stuff. I can tell you where we think the SARS-CoV-2 comes from and all this kind of stuff. But the thing that really put me over the edge, and the reason I'm here, I joined Robert with the lawsuit against Trusted News Initiative and CHD because I felt it was an important stance to take. So we're a plaintiff in that lawsuit. But I think the thing that pushed me over the edge, ironically, had nothing to do with COVID, okay? Get ready for this one. So on YouTube, again, not our platform, but on YouTube, we simply did a news update on the Gardasil lawsuit. So that's the HPV vaccine, okay, against cervical cancer, right? And there's just lawsuits. We didn't say whether it was bad or good. We just said, hey, there's a lawsuit. YouTube cuts it. We said, well, and we have connections there. We said, what's going on here? They said, well, it's not misinformation, and it's not disinformation. It's malinformation. I said, what the uck is that? What is malinformation? They said, well, the World Health Organization, which is the ministry of truth for today, okay, they haven't commented on that yet. So you can't talk about it. That's what I was done. So when I got invited to come here, I said, initially I wasn't going to come. We were just going to support it. And I said, I need to come and tell these folks that. But I support this effort. There's major censorship now. It's a move towards a totalitarian type of environment. It really is. It's much more dangerous than people think. And it comes from all sides. Just to be mindful, everybody. Doesn't matter who's in power. Doesn't matter. Those tendencies are unfolding right now. So it's going to take a broad-based coalition to overcome something like this. So I'm hoping that happens. I want to thank everybody for being here, and thanks for taking the time.